Hi guys, happy Thursday. It's Catherine Middlebrooks, founder of BRB Yoga, and today I wanted to come on really quickly just to talk about some considerations for if you are pregnant and you are wanting to, either you had a diastasis after your first pregnancy and this is a subsequent pregnancy and you're like, is it too late? Can I fix it? Can I make it better during my pregnancy? Or, maybe you had your first child, you did a lot of work to heal a diastasis, and then you get pregnant again, and you're like, am I going to undo all of this good work? Or it's your first pregnancy, and you just want to make sure that you are doing everything you can to set yourself up for a healthy core during pregnancy and beyond. So let's talk about this. There's just a couple of things that I want to talk through. I'm going to talk through breathing, because I always talk about breathing, transverse strength, alignment, and then mindset, and maybe one or two other things in there if they pop into my mind. Okay, so let's first talk about breathing. So if you want to maintain and or help your core during your pregnancy, please start or maintain a deep breathing practice. So I've talked about this a lot, but just as a reminder, the breath is intricately connected to the core musculature. The diaphragm drops down on the inhale. That makes the core muscles relax, the pelvic floor descend and relax. Then when you exhale, the diaphragm comes up, the core muscles engage, the pelvic floor engages. So this is a system that works together and it works beautifully. The other thing that is involved in all of this is that the hip muscles and the back muscles are also related to our breathing system. When we are taking big full breaths, every time we take an inhale, it actually allows the back muscles to relax. It allows the hip muscles, particularly that psoas, to relax. So, if you are pregnant, I want you to be doing deep breathing every single day. Please, deep breathing every single day. It is going to get harder as the baby gets bigger to take full deep breaths because that baby starts pushing up into your diaphragm. It makes that breathing harder. But the more you practice deep breathing, the more you are asking your rib muscles to stay really mobile during your pregnancy. And this is huge. If your rib muscles stay mobile, then you're not going to get all of these tightness compensations that often happen as a result of pregnancy. Tight back muscles, tight hip muscles, all of that. And you're going to be continuously reinforcing the natural strength of the core and the pelvic floor, which is something obviously we want to be reinforcing as you are pregnant to set you up for an easier recovery postpartum. So that's first and foremost, deep breathing practice every day throughout your pregnancy. And it's really good for stress release too. And that's good for the baby, it's good for mama, it's good for everyone. So deep breathing is key. Okay, second thing, transverse engagement. You get a lot of people who are like, can I strengthen my core while I'm pregnant? And the answer is absolutely. There are people who will not close, let me be really clear on this. When you look at research, like 100% of women have some amount of abdominal separation in their third trimester. So you will have abdominal separation. However, it is very possible if you're starting your pregnancy with a separation that's pretty significant, you can actually make progress on closing that gap to a smaller size while you are pregnant. And you can get to the end of your pregnancy with a smaller gap than you started with, right? If you're starting with a significant gap. I don't want you to think that your goal is to keep those muscles rigid, though, because those muscles need to open to a certain extent to make room for the baby. So one of my favorite exercises during pregnancy for finding that transverse engagement is hugging the baby up and in. So I'm going to demo that real quickly. And it's simply coming onto your hands and knees, finding a nice neutral spine here. So you're not here, you're not dumping. You have the spine nice and straight. When you inhale, you let your belly relax. And then when you exhale, you think about hugging the baby up toward your spine. It's really simple. Breathing in, everything relaxes, and then you exhale, hug that baby up and in. Right? Do that every day. That's super helpful just to, again, reinforce the strength of the transverse as that baby grows. The other thing that's really key about that is it's not just the engagement that you want to focus on. You also want to focus on getting everything relaxing on the inhale, right? So when you're in that hands and knees position and you're taking a big breath in, the belly is relaxing. The pelvic floor is also relaxing. So you're literally sending that breath all the way into the pelvic floor. And then you exhale, the pelvic floor naturally engages. You hug that belly up into your body. Okay, so that's breathing, transverse engagement, alignment. All right, let's talk about alignment for pregnant women, because we have a lot happening in our body that pushes us away from good alignment when we are pregnant. All right, so what typically happens is you're pregnant, you have a big belly, and because we live in a world where we sit a lot, we have pretty weak glutes, we tend to kind of hang. You know, you've all seen this position in pregnant women. They're like hanging forward, or they walk and they have their feet turned out and they're waddling. All of that is not helping your body. If you think about, you've got already a lot of extra girth here. The muscles are already starting to separate. If you then are sending and hanging in your hips and sending that belly forward and allowing this back to really kind of scrunch in, then you're putting more pressure on your abdomen. You're pushing those muscles further away from each other. So you just want to be really conscious of standing in good alignment while you are pregnant and as your baby grows. So really thinking about backing the hips up. So notice how I did that. I'm not taking my whole body back. I am literally backing the hips up. I like to move it at the level of the thighs. Thighs shift back. That keeps my upper body relatively steady. I have a ceiling vent fan that's blowing crazy right now. But you can see now I'm not hanging. I'm not sending pressure forward. I am really strong through my legs. It's going to ask my glutes to work a little bit more, which is good. We want good, strong glutes to support us when we are pregnant and beyond. And it's going to allow there to not be excess pressure pushing forward on the belly. So that's huge. Now, also when you're walking, just notice the tendency to start turning your feet outwards and waddle. Right? This is not good for our hip musculature. So you want to be thinking about keeping those feet parallel and allowing your feet to stay parallel while you are walking. Okay, that's alignment. The last thing, and I really can't understate this, mindset. Okay. Now, I'll be perfectly honest and say I get negative comments on Facebook and in email about the fact that I will describe pregnancy as an injury to the body. And I get why I get comments about that. First of all, let me say, I say that because the changes that happen during pregnancy are like an injury. We have muscular compensations like would happen when you injure your ankle or something like that. So I feel very strong that that's a very perfectly appropriate thing to say. But the comments I get are from people who are like, no, pregnancy is a beautiful, natural thing. And this is, to be describing it as an injury is making people afraid of it and all of this stuff. Let me say, for the record, I completely agree that pregnancy is beautiful, natural, amazing. It is all of those things. But it is not something that we do on a regular basis. So, the reason I talk about pregnancy as an injury is because I want you to be aware that there are big changes happening in your body. That being said, I also want you to come into your pregnancy and your delivery feeling so very positive and feeling very much confident in your body's ability to get to the other side, right? However that happens, whether you have a vaginal birth, a C-section, that doesn't matter. Mentally, I want you to feel that you're able to do this 100%, that you will get to the other side. And here's why. One, our thoughts matter in our body. Think about the placebo effect. If you take a sugar pill and you start feeling better, that's because your mind has made your body feel better. The opposite is true. If you think, like there's this video on YouTube where it's like, this video is going to hurt. And at the beginning of it, it talks about how there's this subliminal sound that like makes your brain hurt. And if you listen to it, it does make your brain hurt. And then at the end of the video, it's like there was no sound. You completely imagined it. So I'm giving you these examples to say your brain can create physical reality. Like hands down, no question about that. So you want to really start visualizing on a daily basis your body healthy, vibrant as you give birth, as you're pregnant, and in the postpartum period. Do that positive visualization. Really imagine your body being whole and well in now and in the future, because that does absolutely have an impact on the way your body responds to these big events. On the other hand, if you are believing, I'm starting this pregnancy broken, I'm going to stay broken, I'm going to get more broken, well, what do you think is going to happen? Odds are that's going to happen. Like you're going to think yourself into that state. So be really mindful of the way you're thinking. And if you need help with that, find positive meditations on YouTube or somewhere. You know, they're out there. You know, I know there's Hypno Babies and there's lots of resources for that sort of positive affirmation. And during pregnancy, that is a great time to be using that. So believe and visualize your body doing well through all of these, and that is going to help. Okay, so the other thing, I meant to say this with the alignment piece. Walk a lot, please, as much as you can, right? Don't worry about doing crazy, vigorous activities. Walk as much as possible, especially as you get bigger. Not only is walking really helpful for getting the body ready for delivery, it's also really good for your glute strength. It's really good to get you breathing well. It also is really good for reducing stress levels. So it kind of does all those good things together. So that is something that I would recommend as well. Okay, so just to recap, I went through a couple of things to think about when you are pregnant, and they included breathing, transverse engagement, alignment, mindset. So those are all the things that, were I to get pregnant again, which I will not be doing, I'm very happy with my 2 children, then those are the things that I would be focusing on during my pregnancy. All right, guys, please let me know if you have questions about any of this in the comments below, and I will see you all very soon. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.